For our audience joining us today, you can enter your questions that you have for the teams into the question and answer chat, and we'll bring it up later on at the end of the presentation. All right, thank you, Team Circuit Breakers. You can take it away.
Hello, everyone. We are Team Circuit Breakers, and I'm Smayan.
I'm Dhruv.
I'm Aditya.
And I'm Madhav.
So we'll be splitting today's presentation into 4 subsections: the challenge statement, the device and materials, the prototype, and the possible extensions. You might be looking at the icons and wondering, what in the world are those? Don't worry, we'll get to it.
Here's a little bit about the challenge statement that we chose. We have taken on challenge PS095. Our task was to create low-cost docking labels and sticky notes which would benefit the visually impaired.
Let me give you an example. Close your eyes and imagine walking into a closet. Say you're already well acquainted with the closet and know where the stacks of shirts and pants are. But you no longer know if the color of the shirt is either blue, red, or does it even have stripes. That is where we come in with a simple solution. When we found out about the issues that our client Mr. Dennis faced, we immediately knew that there has to be better technology available to him than inconvenient QR codes.
The community partner we have been working with is the Singapore Association of the Visually Handicapped. When we reached out to them with our first solution, they gave us precise guidance on how we should proceed. They inspired us to take on this problem systematically, and I feel that this is what positively impacted our work and motivated us.
And now, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. I present to you, in all its glory, the Echo Tag, and will tell you exactly what it does.
After months, I repeat, months of grueling pain, perseverance, and determination, we finally agreed to a design. Here are some of the key features we settled on. The device can be placed anywhere and is mostly standalone. Along with that, the family members can access the recordings from anywhere easily. And the tag is extremely cheap and long-lasting.
And now, a sneak peek into our build process. This is when the circuit breaking actually started, along with a few puffy batteries and smoking capacitors. We started by analyzing a recorder chip that we bought online. It took a lot of brains to crack it. Next, we worked on a CAD model to house all the circuitry of the bracelets and the tags. The last step, 3D printing the parts and gluing them all together. Don't worry, we use screws.
Meet the 2 stars of the show, the Echo Bracelet and the Echo Tag. Together, they make our wonderful solution. The bracelet is worn on the hand like a watch and houses a rechargeable battery along with a wireless power transmitter. It sounds like a handful, but it's actually pretty lightweight and at a mere 30 grams.
And then we have the Echo Tag, the brains of the operation. They are standalone units and require the bracelet only for power. The tag stores the recording in a memory unit located under its cover. And through an embedded speaker, it relays the restored recordings when powered on.
Our solution is incredibly easy to use and affordable. You'll see later. Our solution benefits the user as it is small and light, making it incredibly comfortable to use. It eliminates the need to buy new batteries as we use rechargeable ones in the bracelet.
Here is the table of costs we made. We try to use as few numbers as possible for the math haters. As you can see, each tag costs around $4.30. We realize this isn't very cheap for an audio tag, but it's a start. With our own custom chips and using injection molding, we can make our product much cheaper.
Here you can see that the bracelet itself amounts to $14 a piece, with current technology making it very affordable. Imagine what we could do if we had the resources to make the manufactured end product very cheap.
An end product means nothing without some statistics to prove its worth. So we've collated some data for you here. The bracelets have a battery life of more than 1 month. And the best part, you can just charge it overnight and it's ready to use for another month.
The tags themselves don't have any limited battery life, given that they don't have any batteries. But each tag can hold up to 30 seconds of recordings. While this is a good starting point, we hope to improve on this in the future.
Like we mentioned earlier, the tag costs $4 each. There's certainly room for improvement, so given more time, we would like to research further for cheaper alternatives to the current components that we have chosen.
Our journey was rough with multiple bumps along the way, owing to various challenges that we faced. This forced us to compromise on our design, resulting in a few disadvantages, which we have not been able to address due to the budget constraint and the requirements of our client.
Firstly, we have battery life. Although the bracelet can last about a month or so, its life could be significantly extended by 1 week before the client needs to charge its battery again.
Secondly, we have the size. The bracelet and the tags are bulky and not very appealing. This is because we opted for functionality over aesthetics. We can easily change this by creating our own custom PCB and housing.
Thirdly, the tags can store a maximum of 30 seconds of recording, which is acceptable for most cases. However, this could be significantly improved.
And lastly, it would be more convenient for the user to use the tag if voice recognition is included. For example, he could say the phrase, "Hey Echo," instead of physically pressing the buttons.
And now, on to the numerous challenges we faced. One challenge we faced was to try and keep the tag simple to use. So we had to ensure no technical knowledge is needed to operate them. Therefore, we eliminated the initial dependence on cloud storage and opted for the simpler inbuilt storage, which came with its own set of issues, such as limited capacity and a larger case for the tags.
Furthermore, we knew our product would require a battery, but the issue was not how to fit it in or to make it last a long time. After spending a considerable amount of time brainstorming, we finalized on using wireless power technology to prolong the charge of the battery, thereby improving user experience.
The future doesn't show itself if we don't keep improving on existing products. How could we have gotten the Tesla if we're stuck on gasoline cars? So here are some ways we think the tags can be improved.
The use of capacitors allows us to store charge for longer on a single tap, rather than keeping the bracelet in contact with the tag at all times. Finally, we could include voice recognition for enhancing the consumer experience.
This slide just sums up our whole journey throughout this amazing competition. The module you can see attached to the base of our phone was our original idea, and the red circle was our original conception of the tag. The initial plan was to use NFC technology and cloud storage for the ultimate user experience. However, after a discussion with Mr. Dennis, we decided to simplify our design, allowing everyone to use the tags with ease.
And now we've reached the time you've been waiting for. You have burning questions and we have the answers. So ask away.
All right. Thank you to Team Circuit Breakers for your wonderful presentation. Perhaps I can start off with a question. You mentioned a lot about putting a lot of effort and grueling pain that you encountered over the past few months. Perhaps can you share some learning points or key takeaways that you have from this process?
One of them was to not connect the terminals of the battery together, because one of us did that by mistake and the battery started to smoke. And then
another was learning through experimentation, because if it wasn't for that, we couldn't have figured out how the recording chip worked.
All right, thank you for that. You mentioned about possible extensions, but they were mostly focused on the features of the device. Do you have any aspirations or any dreams for how this solution can be used in for other target audience?
So the tag, we believe the tag can also be applied in other areas. For example, maybe for the orally or the hearing impaired, right? Instead of audio tags or labels, we could make it visual tags and labels. And the great thing is that we can just carry out this process of slightly modifying it for each area. But then the core concept remains the same, so we can use it in multiple places.
All right, thank you for that. So we're excited to see how this can be used for other personnel, with hearing impairments and such. You mentioned about Mr. Dennis throughout the presentation. How did he react to your solution, and has he given any comments or praised you for this?
So after we met with Mr. Dennis, we proposed our initial solution, and to be frank, it actually went through a lot of changes, because we didn't take into account the fact that not all users may be well acquainted with cloud storage or advanced technologies to actually carry the solution. But he was initially pretty impressed, I would say, about how we conceived the solution. It just required a few modifications to address a larger target audience.
All right. So from your entire presentation and your questions, your answers today, can tell that you really put a lot of thought and effort into this project. Perhaps one last question. I would just like to ask the whole entire group, would you have done anything differently if you could do this again? Perhaps if you had more resources and all?
If we have more time or resources, we might have gone for a different solution and approach. So we might have opted to use RFID technology instead of using these tags, just because RFID is extremely small and it can be placed anywhere with ease and in large quantities because it's very cheap.
All right, thank you for your presentation. So thank you to Team Circuit Breakers for their presentation.